My name is Patty Garrett, and I'm going to give you a quick overview of a template that was created for understanding by design based on the books by Grant Wiggins and J. McTighe, The Understanding by Design Guide to Advanced Concepts in Creating and Reviewing Units, and the Understanding by Design Guide to Creating High Quality Units. This comes in 3 stages. It's also known as backwards design. We start out with competencies, then go to assessments, and finally the actual lesson plan. So here is stage 1, identify desired results. The first page of the template is just basic information, the name of the course, class time, the school you work for, is there a textbook in the class, links to online resource material, the title of the unit time frame, where the unit fits into the class, why you're developing the course, and your level of expertise. Then we identify the unit overview. What is the big idea of the unit that can be put in simple words, 5th to 7th grade level, not just yes or no, an idea that uses participants' higher order critical thinking skills. Then you look to the content standards or competencies that are used by your school or organization. Which of these competency codes will your unit address? As we said, this is also known as backward design. We're not going to squeeze the codes in at the end. We're going to know what they are at the beginning. What are the transfer skills? What knowledge do you want your students to have that they can use outside of this course in a much larger context? And align those with competency codes that you have already listed. And this can be changed throughout any stage of this understanding by design. If you find you need to tweak, that's probably good. What is the meaning making of your unit? What are the essential questions? Not yes or no. Once again, critical thinking. What are the big questions you want your participants to ask themselves throughout the unit? And then what do you want them to ultimately understand about the ideas and content of your unit? There, of course, will be basic knowledge that your students need to know, vocabulary terms, concepts, maybe people they need to be introduced to. List those aligned with competencies codes, and what skills are needed. Are they going to be able to have specific computer skills, perhaps research skills, maybe knowledge of APA citations? What skills will they need to be successful in this unit? Then we get our own self-check. We're going to ask that students be allowed to evaluate themselves along the way, so why don't we as the facilitators? So this reviews what stage 1 asks of us and asks you to determine whether you feel you have achieved the goals of stage 1. Once you've done that, we also have a form for peer review in case you're working with a group of people, or you need to let your principal know or your director know, and they can go through and give you a peer review, and it may be some ideas that you hadn't thought of while you were creating stage 1. Stage 2, determine acceptable evidence. We're not figuring out what activities yet. We've got the codes, and now what are we going to assess? What are our lesson plan going to assess? We're going to determine that early in our designing, always aligning them with the codes. Wiggins and McTighe suggest that the final evaluative project is not just your typical fill in the bubble type of exam. They suggest a performance task that's kind of bigger, that's a big project that uses all the talents that a student has or different perspectives, and they give us the acronym GRASPs to think about what kind of criteria you would have within this performance task. G is for goal. What is the goal? R is what role of the student. What is the audience? A, the situation. S, the product or purpose of this task. For P, and again, standards and competencies. And then what criteria will be used for each of the performance tasks that you suggest. And then these should all, again, reflect back to the transfer goals and meaning goals that you established in stage 1. We will take opportunities, hopefully, to look at the knowledge and skills that we listed. And because Wiggins and McTighe absolutely understand how busy the facilitator is, they're not against true, false, multiple choice, short answer in this situation to get kind of a quick checkup so you can get immediate feedback to make sure you are not on the wrong track or that you have the information to be successful. And then there's the grading rubric, which is created not only for the facilitator but also for the student. What will they need to accomplish in that performance task to know that they are working at their best ability? They suggest looking at 4 types of criteria, not using all 4, not even using this exact vocabulary, but think about the impact of the project, content, the quality, and the process. And then you put what you expect for exemplary, needs revision, shows no evidence, so students have a guideline of how to be successful. We have our self-check, asking those same questions in stage 2, little reflection, which is always good, and again, peer feedback from people you're working with or maybe perhaps working for or future facilitators. Stage 3, the plan the actual learning experiences. We're finally getting to what I consider the fun part, but now it's all gelled together. Again, Wiggins and McTighe give us an acronym called WHERE To. So you start out with W. Where is the unit going? What is expected? Where are the students coming from? So have goals. What is the relevance? Just if students perform so much better if they know why they're doing what they're doing. Then there's the hook, H, hook and hold. What are you going to offer students so that it piques their interest and makes them want to learn more? Could it be something with technology? Could it be a guest speaker? Could it be just an article from a strange perspective? What is your hook to get the kids or participants interested? And then how are you going to equip the students to help them experience and explore the issues? How will the students not cover the material but uncover the meaning of the unit? Then rethink, revise, and refine. When will there be opportunities to stop and think, okay, am I on the right track? Do I have a misconception? I think I can do better here. And how can I have this high quality that I know is expected? So if they can have this feedback along the way, then they'll be much more successful in the end. And also to reflect and self-regulate. Just taking time to process what they've learned is very important. And evaluate. When do they get this feedback throughout the unit to know that they're on the right track? So by the end, they haven't been on some wrong track, have some misconception that shows in the final performance task, but perhaps could have been caught earlier in the unit. Again, we're trying to ensure participant success. And where to? This is the T, tailored. How can you personalize this unit to help more students be successful? Maybe it's the content, the process, the product, the whole learning environment. There's lots of ways to tweak so more students and participants, and hopefully all, have the opportunity to be successful and learn and get these transfer skills. And O is for organized. In my particular situation, we are organized with technology. Wiggins and McTighe, it's organized. How is your lesson organized from beginning to end so it builds and makes sense? So once you have that done, you have your lesson. And now you know that your lesson plans, you know how you're going to assess it, and you know that everything within that fits within standards and codes. Your last chance for your self-check, looking at the where to, make sure you thought about all of that within the lesson planning. Self-reflection, this could help you with future lessons, and the peer review. So in the future, maybe you could share it with your co-teacher, and now they're looking at it going, all right, well, I kind of understand what this hook and hold was and how I can use this same lesson. The sources used for this understanding by design are listed here. Books by J. McTighe and Grant Wiggins. So feel free to check that out for your own use, and I thank you for listening.